Hi. Have you ever heard of a humpback anglerfish? These fellas are part of a species known as the black sea devils. And similar to the devil himself, they're pretty conniving. If you were to be a regular fish swimming out in the ocean, deep in the depths where it's dark, you might notice a bright light and assume it's a place of safety, of comfort, of serenity. It's harmless. It's pure. But unbeknownst to you, the innocent and happy fish, this is a bioluminescent lure. A lure intended to attract and capture its prey. Because as soon as you let your guard down, the jaws of the sea devil itself clamp onto you. Yep, that's pretty much how I feel as a gamer right now. Okay, first off, who the hell is still buying Xboxes? No, genuinely, like I have an Xbox Series X under my TV. I do not own a PlayStation 5. For all accounts, I am an Xbox fanboy. Perhaps not as much as I am a Nintendo fanboy, but at some point in my life, Mario handed off the baton that is Nintendine over to the Master Chief, and he took care of me for a while. And despite that, I still gotta ask, who is buying an Xbox? How on earth do they expect to sell a Series X at $599.99 where they could barely sell it at $499.99? And the game's at 80 bucks? Dude, people were barely buying them. They were grabbing Game Pass, paying for 1 month, beating the game, and moving on. A Series S at $379.99? Are you high? Microsoft, you are already losing the generation. You had a glimmer of a chance that come Christmas time, Grandma Edith might be in the store and say, I want to buy the Nintendo for my grandchild, and see that the Xbox Series S is significantly cheaper than the Nintendo 2. But instead, Nintendo said $450, and you took that personally. This is making so much sense right now, because GameStop was offering people $420.69 for their Xbox Series X a couple weeks ago. And everybody was like, haha, $420.69, worth it, trade it in, baby. Yeah, they appealed to the High-Ons to get the High-Ons to trade in their Xbox Series X. But I knew what they were doing as soon as I saw that GameStop was going to offer $420.69 for the Series X, which I'm pretty sure you were able to grab for like 450 bucks. Something was coming. They were prepping themselves. You think GameStop didn't know these price increases were coming? They all knew. These corporations are all playing a game together, and we are the pieces of that game. They roll the dice and we get moved. Except they're not using regular dice, they're using ones that start at $60 frickin' and go up to 100. Alright, back up. So, those of you who don't know me, I'm Nintendine. I post Mario videos. That's what I do. What I did. I grew up a Nintendo fan. Nintendo could do no wrong because Nintendo is Mario, yada yada yada. Nintendo shill, I would buy a can of fart juice if Mario sold it to me. Okay, we got that out of the way. In the past month, that fart juice stopped tasting good. Actually, it tasted fine, but they're charging too much for it, so now I'm no longer interested. So I've kind of lost my mind over the past month. I have been venting about everything possible you could imagine to vent about when it comes to the gaming community. Actually, that's not true. I still got 100 more topics I want to get through. But I've covered some greatest hits. You might know me from I'm not buying the Nintendo Switch 2. Or you might have chimed in when I said there's a problem with digital games. My analyses of failed console launches. Or my video where I actually broke down and calculated how much gaming actually costs today compared to how it used to back in the day. Or the edgiest of my topics, piracy isn't theft. The point is, I've kind of lost it recently. Or, depending on who you ask, maybe I found it. Game companies have been milking us more and more consistently throughout the past decade or two. I've been primarily focused on Nintendo because I am a Nintendo fanboy, but it's bigger than just Nintendo. Since the Direct, Ubisoft has ignited controversy with its legal argument that gamers do not own their own games that they bought digitally or as physical copies. Nintendo told us a plumber driving a car was worth $80. Sony said, oh, I gotta get in on this. 25% increase in prices. And now Xbox, because Lord knows they can't think for themselves, they're following the crowd. But it's not a coincidence this all happens at the same time. They know what they're doing. They're seeing where that line is, how far they can push until the little guy pushes them back. But for some reason, in 2020, we had a worldwide pandemic and everybody just kind of forgot how to not spend money, I guess? We somehow transformed into an economy that simultaneously, allegedly has more money, but now we're all supposedly more broke. And there are numerous reasons as to why these things could be the way they are. If you ask the liberals, they'll blame Trump. If you ask Trump, he'll blame China. And if you ask China, they'll probably reply something in Mandarin and I will not understand what they said. What all this inevitably amounts to is this weird game where all of us are kind of just arguing with each other all the time, while the rich get richer and we get matchas. I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of done with this. I don't know that I've ever considered myself a political activist. I don't know that I've ever partaken in boycotts. I don't know that I've ever walked out of something. But what I do know, as a man that pays bills and takes care of his family, I like my money. Do you like your money? Good. Let's start with that. Do you consider yourself cheap? Because I don't. I usually spend if it's worth spending. I probably spend more than I need to, and that might be part of the issue here. But despite that, I don't like getting ripped off. That's kind of been one of my themes over the past month. And since I can't exactly topple a capitalistic nation that thrives on the poor, I can stop buying video games. We'll start with that. I've definitely spent enough money on gaming as it is anyway. But over the past month, I've realized I don't think that's enough. At first, I was thinking I wouldn't buy a Switch 2. That kind of evolved to maybe I should stop giving Nintendo some money. Eventually became a full-on boycott until the end of 2025, and I am sitting here swearing off of purchasing video games until something drastically changes in the gaming world. Quite frankly, I am fed up with this. This is no longer a Nintendo thing. This is a gaming issue. I swear the only people that might be eating well right now are Steam Deck / PC gamers, and even then, they're only eating well compared to console gamers. And 90% of the reason Gabe Newell is as nice as he is because he knows that if you mess with a PC gamer, they're definitely gonna pirate that stuff. There is a virus in the gaming world, and they have us pointing our fingers at each other like we're frickin' Neanderthals arguing about how you're dumb because your A button is here and not here. They've sold us on this idea that the most important thing for gaming is competition, because when there's competition, they'll play right. The competition never should have been Xbox versus Sony, Nintendo versus Sony, Sega versus Nintendo. The competition should be us versus them. We, the customers. Note that I didn't say consumers. We, the customers, are the ones who determine the price, not them. Supply and demand goes both ways. We are the demand, and if you want the price to go down, you better doggone be damned that I'm gonna demand it goes down. Voting with your wallet is a real thing. It was not that long ago that prices dropped because people didn't buy them at the ludicrously high prices. It is not your concern how much money a gaming company is making. It is not your concern how much it costs them to create that device. What should be your only concern is this worth it for me to purchase? Now, in saying that, I understand that for many of you, these prices are reasonable. By all means, buy what you have to buy. But those of you that are kind of reluctantly just going with the flow and thinking there's zero hope of any change, I get it. I'm speaking this right now, and I think there's zero hope of any change. But in my lifetime, there has not been this much smoke. There has not been this much of a discussion. There has not been this much of a backlash, probably since 2013, when Xbox decided to go skydiving without a parachute. There is a lot of anger, a lot of discourse, a lot of animosity, and there should be. Not at each other though. It should be against these corporations that are rinsing us. I was initially calling for a boycott to Nintendo until 2026. And again, I want to reiterate, I am not telling you how you should or shouldn't spend your money. I'm just telling you this is what I'm doing, and if you want to join, great. But initially, my thought process was at least until 2026 we should hold off on buying the Nintendo Switch 2. I'm changing my focus now. I've become a radicalized gamer. I am 100% cutting off any penny that will go to the gaming industry until there is change. I have the luxury of being a gamer with a crap ton of video games readily available for me to play, and a means of which to get the games that I haven't played before without sending any money directly to the company that wants it. I am in a position where I do not need to spend any money on gaming, and I can still be a gamer for the rest of my life. I imagine many of you with your countless backlogs and terabytes of, we'll call it data, can probably relate to that. But at this point in time, I'm opting out. I am canceling my subscription. I'm adding my number to the do not call list, and I'm gonna close my blinds, I'm gonna lock my doors, and I'm gonna play Super Mario Bros. With a console not connecting to the internet like it's 1992. Now, as far as this channel goes, I have hundreds of topics written down on a notepad. Topics related to the gaming industry, the entertainment industry, greed, and just all around bullcrap that we've been dealing with, a lot of which I've already touched up on in my previous 22 videos, my Nintendine Talks videos, because enough is enough. And I know I'm not the only one that feels this way. And realistically speaking, I'm a speck of the ocean. Nothing's gonna happen. Nothing's gonna come of this. But man, I look myself in the mirror. Where's my pride, my dignity? How long am I gonna keep getting rinsed for? How much longer am I going to defend why my game console is better than your game console? All the while both of us are spending more than we should? Why is it that the gaming industry is the most profitable entertainment industry in the world, and somehow they have people convinced that they need to raise prices in order to remain profitable? Nintendo is not a ma and pa shop. Sony isn't Uncle Jim's diner. Xbox is freaking Microsoft. But you're telling me they need to increase their prices to keep up with the times, all the while decreasing our ownership of the games that we buy? I'm out. I am no longer putting a time limit on this. It is just a clear no dollars to the gaming industry. That's where I'm stopping it at. I will keep gaming. I will keep playing a lot of games. I will be playing new games. One way or another, I will. But they're not getting any dollars from me anymore. No. Find a way to win me back. I'm not a yes man YouTuber. I'm not a corporate defender. I'm a dad. I'm a husband. I'm a gamer. But I'm not an idiot. Well, at least not for this topic. We gamers are busy bickering over whether a joystick should be above or below the D-pad, while these damn corporations are devising ways of cutting off our ownership of the controllers that we purchased. I've reached my limit. If you have as well, let's see if our purchasing power can get anything done. Thanks again for listening. I'll catch you guys on the next one.